Hello everyone, and welcome back to TSN. I am your host Evan, and today I want to ask you guys some questions. In every season of American Ninja Warrior, what do most people look forward to the most? You'll hear the answer of the Las Vegas Finals more than any other. When people think of the Vegas Finals, they usually think of how it is a 4-stage course, like how the Midoriyama or SASUKE format is set up. However, we are discussing the specific obstacles that make up this prestigious course. Vegas is where many A&W ninjas' legacies are formed, and the obstacles here are some of the most impactful of any ninja show. Here, I want to go over my 10 favorites that the Vegas course has ever seen. However, I have to make a few ground rules. If an obstacle debuted in SASUKE, it is not eligible for the list. So no jumping spider, no ultimate cliffhanger, no flying bar, etc. Another rule I have is if the obstacle debuted in a qualifier and later made its way to Vegas, regardless on whether or not it was modified, they are eligible for the list. But the Vegas version of the obstacle is the only version that will be taken into account. Anyways, let's move to the starting platform and begin the list. What better way to start off this list with the very first obstacle of Stage 2 in modern seasons. Kicking us off is with the Striding Steps, which has a very unique origin story. The Striding Steps originated from the All-Star Specials as a skills challenge. The Striding Steps are small pegs that allow for competitors to run across them and leap for a rope. In the skills challenges, the competitor would swing back and run across the pegs again. But in modern A&W seasons, the competitors would use this rope to swing over to the double salmon ladder. The Striding Steps are a deceptively precise obstacle, because if your balance falters even a little bit, it's nigh impossible to recover. This obstacle took out the likes of Donovan Matoyer, Kai Beckstrand, Joe Moravsky, and Jackson Twait. Stage 2 has had a severe lack of balance and agility-like obstacles since the balance tank was axed after Season 5. And with A&W Stage 2 becoming more of a diet Stage 3, it sorely needed an obstacle to change up that dynamic. And the Striding Steps do just that, and thus lands in the top 10. One of the most underrated archetypes that an obstacle can be is the Strength Drainer. A good course doesn't need each obstacle to be an absolute ninja killer. In fact, usually a good course has like 1, 2, maybe 3 obstacles that are designed to be crux points. An obstacle that fits the Strength Drainer archetype very well and has the ability to take out people, although it never did in Vegas, is the Keyock Hang. The Keyock Hang made its debut as the first obstacle of Stage 3 in Season 8 of A&W. The obstacle is strikingly similar to the obstacle circuit board in the Indianapolis City Finals. You have to use the specific holds to traverse through the board. Here, you have to twist your wrists to ensure the holds do not go through the board and keep you suspended. But there are circle-like holes in the board to keep the challenge and to advance to the next track. The unique concept and aesthetic of the Keyock Hang is one of the main reasons why it has stood out from other obstacles in the same archetype. Only 5 people ever attempted this obstacle due to the difficulty of Stage 2 in Seasons 8 and 9, and none of them failed it. Again, this obstacle didn't really need to take anyone out. Despite the lack of history, the Keyock Hang proved itself worthy of the number 9 slot. Ethan, if you're watching, this one's for you. Unguard has to be one of the most criminally underutilized obstacles in any ninja show. This obstacle is very similar to the flying bar, but with a twist. Literally, you have an extended bar and have to hop it down a track, but on each laché, you have to push in the bar to avoid the barriers that are in front of each transition. This obstacle requires insane amounts of body control. However, both people that took on this obstacle beat it. Like with the Keyock Hang, due to the overall difficulty of Season 10's Stage 2, the obstacle didn't get the chance to get the limelight it deserved. However, unlike the Keyock Hang, this obstacle only got 1 episode on our screens. Like, this is the only time Unguard appeared in A&W. What the hell, man? If I ever make a top 10 A&W obstacles with missed potential list, Ungard would be an easy contender to top the list. Where it stands now, though, Ungard's concept and untapped potential lands it in the number 8 slot easily. With this being our second countdown on A&W obstacles, there is bound to be some overlap with the entries. And the first of these is at the number 7 spot. But what obstacle is here? Well, let's take a trip down Kane Lane. Kane Lane was created by Kevin Brecky and was a phenomenal obstacle used as a crux point towards the end of Stage 3. Although the obstacle wasn't attempted in Season 10's Vegas, Season 11 had many more competitors take on the challenge. After 5 brutal obstacles beforehand, competitors have to take a cane hold and hop and slide it along a series of tracks. Sounds simple, right? Well, tell that to the likes of Tyler Gillette, Kevin Carbone, Carson Voiles, Seth Rogers, and Joe Moravsky, who all fell victim to this obstacle in Stage 3, with Moravsky's fall on it being especially heartbreaking to watch. Kane Lane would go on to increase the popularity of Kane Tech drastically. For its difficulty, great concept, and tense moments, Kane Lane lands at the number 7 slot. Split decision was the big twist that Season 13 of American Ninja Warrior introduced, and honestly, it could have been way worse. Usually it was placed between 2 balance obstacles in qualifiers and in the semifinals, where it was in the 9th spot between a tricky balance obstacle and a killer strength obstacle. But split decision also made an appearance in Stage 1 in Season 13 and 14. But here, we take the high road. Probably one of the simplest obstacles that we've ever seen. The high road consisted of a trampoline, a ring, and a ladder. This obstacle technically begins after the warped wall, with a buzzer that would activate the ring. To make a real challenge to get to the ring, the Dipping Birds was placed in between the high road and warped wall, which was the perfect obstacle to disrupt the competitors just enough for balance difficulty. If someone didn't get to the ring in time, they would have to take on the fly hooks, a good obstacle in its own right, but it was way more time consuming than the high road, especially with the cargo net at the end of the course. The high road has a simple ladder for the competitors to climb. This obstacle was an absolute treat to watch, as competitors looked to either try and save their runs, or have a victory lap before finishing with an insane time. It's always so hype when competitors get the high road, especially when they have to make a difficult grab. Some of the people that took on the high road and cleared include Isaiah Wakeham, Jake Murray, Brian Burkhart, Josh Levin, Grant Wynn, Ethan Swanson, and the likes of Donovan Matoyer and Kyle Soderman twice. For adding a unique and exciting twist to the end of Stage 3, the high road slides in the number 6 slot. A&W competitor and social media sensation Johnny Brown is known for dressing in a squirrel costume and doing a bunch of crazy stunts. Why is this relevant? Well, everyone can feel like a flying squirrel on, well, the flying squirrel. The flying squirrel consists of 2 sets of small handles that one would have to build up a lot of swing into a lache to the next set, and then the cargo net. You have to be very precise with your hand placements, as if you get off balance, or worse, miss a handle, good luck trying to recover. This obstacle was surprisingly exciting, as it is the final obstacle of Stage 1. If someone is running low on time, they would have to not take as many swings in order to reach the buzzer in time, and it also contributed to some of modern A&W's best moments, such as Jesse Graff and Alyssa Beard clearing Stage 1, David Campbell breaking his Stage 1 curse, and some others too. This obstacle, although not designed to take people out, did just that, including the likes of Ryan Stratus, Chris DeGangi, Flex Lebrecq, Jesse Graff, John Alexis Jr., Nick Hansen, and Eric Middleton, for providing an exciting end to some of the early modern A&W Stage 1s. Flying Squirrel is a top 5 Vegas obstacle. Another strength drainer on the list, and more overlap from the Obstacle Design Challenge countdown? Well, leave it up to none other than Brett Sims to come up with another great obstacle. This obstacle is known as Iron Summit. Iron Summit is a combination of 2 obstacles that weren't attempted that much in their respective city finals, those being the Iron Maiden and Northwest Passage. As a part of A&W 11 Stage 3, 20 of the 21 competitors who made it that far would take on the challenge, which is quadruple the amount of attempts on those two obstacles combined. I've always liked the concept of combining two obstacles into one, and unlike a certain other obstacle, it didn't wear out its welcome, and in fact, there's quite a bit of missed potential here, with this being the only appearance of the obstacle. Even though 3 of the 20 people who attempted the obstacle failed, Ryan Stratus, Snake Burkhalter, and RJ Roman, like with the Keyock Hang, it didn't really need to take anyone out, due to its role as a strength drainer. We would later see the same competitors that cleared Iron Summit to later gas out on the ultimate cliffhanger, Pipe Dream and Kane Lane. Iron Summit, being one of my favorite strength drainers, is convincingly the number 4 Vegas obstacle. For years, the flying bar was the Stage 3 ender, and while it definitely made an impact, towards the later seasons of A&W, everyone knew how to do the obstacle efficiently, and it ended up being a victory lap for the competitors. ATS had to come up with a new obstacle to end Stage 3 to fill the massive shoes left behind. And wow, did they hit on this new obstacle. Road signs consist of 3 structures designed as, well, road signs. As you start on the pegs of the road signs, and you have to kip yourself up to the actual sign part of the obstacle. Then you lachey to the next one until you complete the obstacle and by extension, Stage 3. I absolutely love this obstacle. It's such a brutal way to end the stage with movements that you don't see very often in Ninja, and it became the roadblock for so many great ninjas from a duel with Midoriyama. These include Elijah Browning, Austin Gray, Jared Boyd, Enzo Wilson, Daniel Gill, and most heartbreakingly, Joe Moravsky. Truly the very best of the best clear. I also think the sayings on the signs themselves is a really nice touch and actually doesn't clash with the A&W color scheme, unlike other obstacles. Road signs gets placed on the podium with the number 3 spot on the countdown. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The top 2 obstacles were incredibly close, and I've gone back and forth between the 2 all the time. In fact, by the time this list releases, my opinion might have changed. But number 2, for now at least, is the fan favorite Double Dipper. If I had a nickel for every time Double Dipper made it very high on one of my lists, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Anyways, the Double Dipper is a very simple concept, basically doubling the Big Dipper, an already great obstacle, into something this grand and fun. The Double Dipper was also utilized on SASUKE as the Dragon Glider, which is one of my favorite obstacles in that show. This obstacle took out so many top competitors in each of the 4 seasons it appeared in Vegas. Too many to name here, but you can hear many competitors say that this was one of their favorite obstacles of all time. I know one thing, Double Dipper is towards the top of my obstacles to try bucket list. Like seriously, it looks so fun and is certainly fun to watch, if not a bit scary. As stated before, the Double Dipper is a fan favorite obstacle and for good reason. And even though the giant roller coaster is pretty cool, nothing can top the speed and adrenaline of the legendary Double Dipper. But if this is number 2, what could possibly be number 1? Before we get to number 1, we have to go over some honorable mentions. If I were to go into detail describing why each obstacle is great, despite not making the list, we'd be here all day. So, I'm just going to have a montage of each obstacle here. Throughout the entire list, you might notice that Stage 2 has been pretty neglected throughout, with only the striding steps making the list thus far. However, we started with a Stage 2 obstacle, and we're ending with a Stage 2 obstacle. Now, Which obstacle is here at the final spot? No, definitely no. Not even eligible for the list. Number 1 is the falling shelves. This has to be one of my favorite obstacles of all time. The falling shelves consists of 4 X holds that you have to lâcher to, but the final lâcher is to a blind grab. And let me tell you something. This blind grab is another sundae on top of the sundae this obstacle already provides. We have seen many blind grabs before, but none can even hold a candle to the falling shelves iteration on this tricky maneuver. This blind grab provides such tension to the end of every run on stage 2, and you wonder if the competitor will be able to make that difficult lâcher and complete the stage. This blind grab is also perfect difficulty scaling for the elite stage 2 athletes, with many succeeding and failing. Some of the people who fell victim to this obstacle include Jake Murray, Adam Rail, Sean Bryan, Elijah Browning, Tyler Yamauchi, Josiah Papel, and many more. Katie Bone clearing it in the women's championship was incredibly hype. And then there was Flip Rodriguez, which, do I really need to go into detail on that? All I'll say is, this moment crashed the Ninja Masters Discord server. On top of all that, it's one of the best obstacles in the racing format in seasons 15 and 16. It's so fun to watch 2 people link this obstacle to clear the course faster than their opponent. The falling shelves has it all. It even inspired SASUKE to have an obstacle similar to it known as the swing edge, but it's not even in the same league as the falling shelves. It may not be the most creative, but for its versatility, fun factor, and difficulty, falling shelves takes the gold medal here. And you know what? I'm going to make a call right here, right now. The falling shelves is not only the best Vegas obstacle, but the best A&W original obstacle that ATS has ever come up with. Well, that's one way to conclude the countdown. This was an incredibly difficult list to make, as the ATS team have come up with so many great obstacles for the show. Even though A&W might be on life support, I will always look back fondly on Vegas for its grandiose nature in forging many legendary athletes' legacies in the sport of ninja. The obstacles making up each Vegas course add on to the prestige of all of the qualities of Vegas mentioned above, whether it be a SASUKE original obstacle like the Jumping Spider or Ultimate Cliffhanger, or an obstacle designed by ATS like these were, each played a massive role. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, until next time on TSN.